I want to extend a very special thank you to Ron and Karen Rettner for their generous underwriting support to bring this remarkable program to the Berkshires. Today is the first time the exhibition of the Jewish rescue in Kosovo will be shown in the United States. Imagine, in our small community. We're deeply grateful and honored for this wonderful opportunity. Ron and Karen are part-time residents of Lenox and active supporters of the Berkshire Jewish community. As members of Knesset Israel, their leadership gift to the congregation's capital campaign has helped create a beautifully renewed spiritual space for KI members. Ron is a successful business executive, developer, and community leader, and a visionary advocate for the advancement of higher education and social justice. Under his leadership as director, the Morris B. Rettner Foundation has funded scholarships, research, civic projects, and university facilities since 1975. He served as president of Rettner Management Corporation since 1976 and as managing partner of Barron Associates since 1980. In 2014, the Albanian American Civic League and Foundation appointed Ron as their Jewish Affairs Advisor in recognition of his important contribution to bringing international attention to the unique role that Albanians played in saving every Jew who either lived in Albania or sought refuge there during the Holocaust. Please join me in welcoming Ron Rettner.
Good afternoon. I am proud to have become acquainted with the Albanian rescue of the Balkan Jews and to have played a small role in disseminating its message to the world. I want to thank Derek Kaufman and Jeff Cook for their enthusiastic roles in making this event happen. I first want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the families of Leka Riznecki and Akim Alikaj for their most important roles in saving so many Balkan Jews, and for Leka and Fatan for traveling halfway around the world to be with us today. It's been an honor to come to know these outstanding young men. I want to acknowledge Joe and Shirley for their role in covering this story and for making this world a better place. And I want to thank Rabbi Wiener for his support and for my wife Karen for her perpetual support. The Albanian rescue of its Jewish population, as well as the thousands of Jews rescued from neighboring Kosovo and Macedonia, is a message to the world that genocide should never be tolerated, and a prime example of a small nation standing up to tyrants in bold defiance to protect a persecuted minority. The Albanian message resonates in our world and in our time, which cavalierly witnessed the Bosnian, Cambodian, Rwandan, Syrian, and Sierra Leone genocides. The world callously ignored the ruthless, senseless, indiscriminate slaughter of entire populations targeted only for their ethnicity, religion, tribalism, or nationalistic hatred. At this very moment in the Middle East, hundreds of thousands of Muslims have been slaughtered, and hundreds of thousands more are on track to be slaughtered due only to their differing interpretations and historic practices of the same broad religion. To my mind, nothing could be more senseless than the killing of innocents for no reason except for their religion, ethnicity, or historic hatred. Oppressed by the Ottomans for 500 years, Catholics, Orthodox, Muslims, and Jews lived side by side, tolerating each other's religious beliefs and practices. The Albanian example so sharply contrasts with the Christian-Muslim bloodletting in countries like Lebanon, Egypt, Turkey, and Syria. In defiance of the Ottoman rule, the Albanians survived by forming their own national code of conduct, ethics, rules, and laws, independent of and in the historic outgrowth of its national character and honor of the Albanian practice of protecting all Albanian nationals from outside persecution and oppression. Numerous psychological studies were undertaken during the Nazi war tribunals. The perpetrators of genocide tended to be rigid, intolerant, remorseless, cruel, violent, angry, filled with hate and irrational hatred, which enabled them to direct and target their hatred and violence on innocent, defenseless targets without remorse, compunction, or conscience. Having endured 500 years of Ottoman oppression, the Albanians first defied the Albanian occupiers and then the Nazis. With its long history of defiance, the Albanians had the national character and collective courage to stand up to the Nazis in protecting its Jewish citizenry from persecution and slaughter. The Albanian rescue of its Jews is a message to the world that each of us must stand up against intolerance, hatred, and those evil forces fomenting senseless persecution and wanton killings of innocents. I have been repeatedly asked why, as an American Jew whose family was not directly impacted by the Nazi Holocaust, have I invested tens of thousands of dollars in disseminating the story and message of the Albanian rescue of its Jews. I feel strongly that the Albanians should be honored and recognized for their national heroism and individual courage in standing up to and defying Nazi brutality. As American officers during World War II, my father and uncle both witnessed Nazi genocide and brutality and saw firsthand the abject horror and inhumanity of concentration camps. My father's brother, an engineer, was captured at the Battle of the Bulge, blowing up a bridge, slowing the German advance. Jewish POWs were segregated into a Jewish stalag and made into slave laborers at a coal gasification mine and Bergabad Orb, a subcamp of Buchenwald, in defiance of the Geneva Convention. As an intelligence officer, my father helped liberate the Ohrdorf concentration camp. I abhor the senseless, wanton, indiscriminate persecution and slaughter of individuals and groups victimized for racial, religious, ethnic, or tribal or nationalistic reasons. I am therefore hopeful that the Albanian message resonates in some small way in a world that turned its back on Nazi genocide and the myriad genocides of our time. I pray that the world comes to its senses and suppresses the senseless, needless hatreds which all too often resulted in wholesale slaughter and genocide. Each and every one of us takes comfort in the safety and security being an American affords us. Yet not a day passes without news photos of mass genocidal killings in the Middle East, Africa, Asia, and we live our lives and tune out the tortured, ghastly suffering of our fellow humans. Yes, Bashar al-Assad is a modern-day Hitler, and no world leader has the guts to stop his onslaught. Chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Ed Royce, tells the story showing pictures his father took as a GI liberating Dachau to Palestinian Authority President and Holocaust denier Abbas. There is no doubt that the axis of evil, Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, and Syria, have their sights set on a modern-day Jewish Holocaust. As an occupied nation, the Albanians could have taken the course of least resistance and turned their back on the persecuted Jewish minority, or still worse, copied the Latvian, Lithuanian, Ukrainian, Hungarian, and Polish nationals who collaborated with the Eisengruppen in mass murdering their Jewish countrymen. The Albanians defied the Nazis, risking life and limb as a matter of honor not to turn their backs on a people in peril. Yes, the Albanian example is one of collective courage, national character, and selflessness in defying genocide, and is a message for our time that should resonate in putting an end to the brutal, senseless mass murders being perpetrated in the name of nationalism, religion, ethnic hatreds, and religious exercise of, and ruthless exercise of political power in our time. Thank you.